Alright, my yard has always been fairly diverse when it comes to ants and various plants and bee species and stuff. Most of the plants thanks to my intervention here. So I thought I would double down on that by planting a white oak tree, Quercus, I believe it's alba. Lost the tag, so hopefully that's right. But anyway, in the grand scheme of the hierarchy, oaks always tend to be like the best trees you can plant as far as species go, and you can see this one that I bought came with some sort of little leaf miner infestation there. I assume they're either dormant or have completed their life cycle. But white oak, if you could take the whole genus and split it up into white, red, I think there's also black and whatever willow oak is, and several other oaks, I'm sure. You'll actually find that the white oaks tend to be the ones that are most feasted upon, and thus get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. So when you have a great big tree like this red oak above me, or the willow leaf oak that is also in my yard, that hopefully this one will get enough sun to grow between, you will... I forget what I was talking about. You'll get more species that way, and I'm curious to see what ant species interact with this tree, and hopefully I will get to be able to repeat some of the findings that people find. They say, they kind of point out that a lot of people don't realize how many caterpillars actually occur on oak trees, because they cut away the lower branches, which is exactly what we have done in our yard. They don't leave the lower ones that are at eye level, because they treat it like a shade tree, something to be walked under, and they do that there, and I'm hopefully going to see some interactions with this next year. Likely some sort of aphid infestation will be the first thing that happens ant-wise with this, and then we'll have to see what happens from there, how it affects the diversity. I know I have winter ants, it's like a foraging trail somewhere in this area. Yeah, I see one right there. And they're kind of running through the leaf litter here, in and out, so it's kind of hard to follow, but they're probably stealing honey or something from that beehive over there, which I thought I was done with honeybees, but my dad apparently caught a swarm, so we have them. If they're alive next year, I guess I'll do a video or two on that, but I don't think this particular hive is doing all that well. But anyway, Tapenoma sessile finally making an appearance in my yard. I don't know what happened to their population this year, because it seems to have crashed, but this is the odorous house ant, which used to be incredibly common in my yard. I remember last year I was complaining that they were stealing nectar from pretty much everything that was in the composite family, or aster family, such as this Coreopsis here. Get close enough to one of the flowers. Yeah, here's the one that's not in front of a stem. I forget what species of Coreopsis this is, but I know it has really dark centers and it's really late flowering. It's, I believe, more native to down south, and it gets these aphids on it, which are probably planning to lay eggs at some point, which they better get to soon, because we've already had a cold snap or two. But what they're doing here is they're like flicking little bits of nectar every so often, and it's landing on the leaves to the plant down below, which not just Tapenoma sessile, but other types of ants are all feeding on. It's a little cold out, so there are not too many here. I saw Camponotus suburbatus earlier. Trouble with them is when you disturb the plant, they tend to jump off. So I've already disturbed this plant. I'm seeing if I can locate one. Might be down here. Where are you? Yeah. It's not really a best angle, but believe me, that's Camponotus suburbatus. And yeah, that's about all that's going on here. Last year I was finding Nylandria and other species here. It's just not hot today. Maybe sometime more active. Or when it's warmer they'll be more active. So, this is a Georgia aster, which is probably among the latest plants to flower, really. It's technically not native to New Jersey, as the name implies. Actually, it's only native to like 2 or 3 counties in Georgia, and is horribly endangered in the wild, but it exists in the nursery trade, though. So, through that, I was able to obtain a specimen or two. The other 2 that I have don't really seem to be doing much, but as far as nectar sources go, this continues flowering a little bit past the indigenous goldenrods I have around here, and I usually find just a bumblebee or 2 clinging to every flower by the time it's finished. Yeah, they seem to just die on the plant, unfortunately, because it's just, the end of their life cycle as well. They raised new queens to fly off and do their thing, but just on this plant here, I would say I have about 10 bumblebees just flying around. Anyway, found a monarch butterfly just randomly hanging out on some bone set here. Really nectaring, so I assume she's just hanging out here for the day. I assume it is a she. Can't really tell without looking at the spots, but anyway, best of luck. So this is the cinnamon fern, which is one of the plants you can kind of, smells like cinnamon, or like a sweet spice kind of fragrance there. But you see it's all over around here in the forest. It's one of those things I like to point out. So I am out with Evan for one last anting trip in the middle of nowhere, Ocean County, somewhere?
Yeah, Toms River, Ocean County College.
Yes, what he said. And this is a colony of Lasius, I believe claviger, which is the only other ant we've found out here besides Philippus imparis. Where'd he go? There's another one up here. Anyway, there's thousands of colonies of Philippus imparis around here. They're all foraging around. Oh, there we go. On a leaf. Or maybe not. Believe me, they're everywhere. I've never had this problem before. They actually run away from the camera. Anyway, we're going to go find an actual nest and I'll film that. So here we are with winter ants. Philippus imparis. And I kind of like how the soil changes here with this colony. And I do wonder if it's related to this colony here, or this other colony over here. Because we've been finding a couple colonies, and they have multiple nest entrances really close together, so this is either the colony budding from too many queens, or this is all connected, somehow forming a triangle of sorts. Alright, so here's another very active nest. It's kind of fitting that I'm ending the year here. This is probably going to be my last episode of This Week in Anting for this year, with the species that I started it with, winter ants, Philippus imparis. Did I lose the trail? Here we are. So this colony has become very active now. They do one last hurrah to fuel up next year's alates. Show it off, but this trail just goes on and on for like 20 feet or so in that direction. But anyway, thank you for watching This Week in Anting, and I'll hopefully be back next year with more episodes. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.